We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng tình, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh. Thịnh duyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã mùng, như há liêu sanh toàn tư ly khổ đạc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đàn Thổ Sư Chế Đô Ye Ở La Hư Đi San Miao San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Tạng Đạc Tha Tô Già Đà Đà A La Đế Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Tọa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma, the 100,000 million aeons, is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai jian, 万劫难遭遇，我今借闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Qingliang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good no advisors of Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、金良大士、师父、上人、各位出家人、各位上智sư Emitofuo. Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư, Thượng Thiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và các vị thiện sư A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the very first day of the last month of the year. We're here at DTT to continue investigating the first chapter of the Avatamsaka Sutra. We're on slide 775. Thank you everyone for joining us. This give you a context. This is the first chapter that describes the who's who of the universe, meaning there are the world rulers. The title is the world rulers, meaning these are the rulers of specific areas of the world. And particularly here, in this section here, we went through quite a few sections already. And this section here is the section that talks about the celestial princes of the sun. So these heavens are at the same level as the sun and the moon. Okay? Next, after this will be celestial princes of the moon, and so forth, you see. And so these are mahasattvas. They're no ordinary bodhisattvas. They're very, very big shots. And they're very powerful. They're assigned to be there. They're not elected. Because in the Buddhist system, Buddhas don't trust your judgment for some reason. Okay? The Buddhism is only democracy for the Sangha, but not for you. Can you imagine? So these world rulers are free from elections, from political pressure. So they're there because they're competent And they're being trained, believe it or not. These are Mahasattvas are being trained to become Buddhas. So they're ruling the world in order, as part of their homework, to become Buddhas. Okay? You see, in Buddhism, when you're asked to do things, for your training. It's not because Buddhas or Bodhisattvas really need you at all. Okay? And so these people are very qualified, they're very competent, they're extremely high-level wisdom and high-level kung fu. That's what it takes in order to carry the weight of the world. Okay? In the future, just do a little bit of advertising here. In the future, we'll have in our small part of the world, it's called Apollo Group. Yeah, Apollo, that Greek god that supports the globe, our world. See, so we will have programs for you lay people where the young Apollos, where we train the youngsters, young people to to take on the responsibility of helping build a better world. And then we also have mini Apollos that we will babysit for you. Okay? So we should have some programs in the future for maybe a short while, for duration like 1 week, 2 weeks, and so forth, to toughen them up and teach them the right value systems. Okay? Why are you young people, so many young people are at our temples, albeit very poor? That's what bothers me about you young people. You're too poor. Why are there so many young people? Because I want to give them a good head start. I was never given in my generation, meaning that no one ever taught me how to be happy, have a happy life. So at least you have a good start, and then you have the proper foundation and discover your own ways, your own path. Okay, but this is what I feel is missing in Buddhism nowadays. Buddhism is only serving old people because, if you get money from old people, then you're supposed to serve them. I understand that. So that's why we don't get a lot of money from old people. I don't get money from young people either. So, so we just have to learn this is the way of the future. After old people died, there's no more support for the temples. So I'm preparing my generation, my children's generation, to get by with very little money and do their work. Okay, that's a way of the future. The financial support for a religious institution will disappear. Okay, because the young generation like you will be a lot more demanding and ask, "What is it you do for me?" Okay, whereas your parents' generation said, "What is it I do for you?" Okay, for the Sangha. You will say, "What is the Sangha doing for you?" So that's why we'd better get ready for that. Okay, and so I feel that in the future we need to do that for the young generations. Something was not done for me. That's why I suffered my entire life until I encountered Mahayana and my teacher, and it changed my life. Okay, so I thought I'd share it with you. And for long term, for you, because more and more people are coming. I don't know how I'm going to support all of you, but eventually, I feel now is my role to take care of education as well, because no one is doing it. Meaning I need to teach the young people like you, maybe high school, at least up to high school, and because that's a foundation. After you finish high school, you have all the wrong value systems. That's why you're all screwed up. you're so unhappy, they're so confused. Okay, so this is just a glimpse for you to see. In the future, I'm staffing people up, training people, and recruiting people with such talents to take care of these functions, to help build a better world for the future. Okay, yeah, we can't just complain. We just have to take action ourselves, take responsibility ourselves. Okay, and you see, and that's what these Mahasattvas are doing. They have wisdom, they have the skills, and what do? They don't hide behind the four walls of the temple and say, I'm better than you, I don't need you. Okay? You cannot become a Buddha that way. You cannot open your wisdom that way. You have to be responsible. You have to be grateful. Let me tell you, these Mahasattvas, there's one thing that common among them is that they're very grateful for the help and the support they got. That's why they're doing this. Let me tell you, you don't have to do this. They don't have to be a world ruler. They have zero interest in becoming a world ruler. They're doing it because they feel obligated. They feel that's how they try to pay back the help they got along the way. Okay, and so that's why we, as we get more and more people, I want all of you to know that I have to work harder and make sure that you have the resources and train you so that you'll be able to do more and more, so that we can make a difference. Cannot expect others to do it. Okay, it's all up to us. All right, so this guy here, this celestial king here, he uttered 4-line verses. The first 2 lines of Dharma, O Buddhas, is thus. They sit beneath the Buddha, the Bodhi, king of trees. It's referring to the fact that thus here is a Buddhist term, okay? Only the Buddhists would use this word, thus. 如是. In Chinese, như thị in Vietnam, and what is in K language? They are sleeping back there. No, it's okay.
Yoshi.
Yoshi, yeah, okay. Yoshi, yeah. It's very, see, Korean basically are Vietnam. Okay, so it's a very interesting concept, thus. It's just thus. Thus meaning it's just like that. Okay? Meaning that all Buddhas are like that. One Buddha's Dharma, the next Buddha's Dharma is just like that. Meaning they're talking, they're teaching the same thing. Why? Why is that? Because the truth, universal truth, is only one. Right? And therefore, if once you master the truth, understand the truth completely, and you teach it, okay, then all Buddhas must do the same thing, must teach that truth. And therefore, the Dharma of all of them is thus. Thus, the way it is. All right? And all Buddhas also, they would, before becoming Buddhas, they would sit beneath a tree, okay, to cultivate, to realize Buddhahood, okay? So they all have the same movie script, okay? All Buddhas' lives is actually very boring. It's like pre-scripted, you know. They sit up there like Maitreya Bodhisattva right now in Tuchita heaven in the inner courtyard, waiting patiently. I don't know what he does, okay, all day. But, you know, and then when it's time, in about 16 million more years after you're all dead already, okay, and hopefully you be in the Pure Land and don't stick around here, okay, girls, okay. And by the way, I'm taking care of young people, but also taking care of old people as well, okay. Meaning that, oh, Master Z is applauding. He belongs to old people. Old people old people are too old They should go to the Pure Land. That's it. Don't talk too much. Jung it's all gone. You know, it doesn't matter what he says. He's just loud mouth. That's all. Yes, Wei Mao.
Hey, Master. So if there's just one universal truth, like you just said, so that kind of truth, if it's one truth, it should be really obvious to anyone who wants to figure it out, right? The same way, like if you, I know you know math, so if you wanted to solve some sort of math equation, there's multiple ways to get there because the answer is going to be the answer no matter what, right?
So what's the question?
So if it's one universal truth, and why does it have to be a Buddhist to figure out the truth versus someone else?
Because someone else is not as smart as the Buddhist.
Okay, so you're saying
I'm not bragging. The fact is that no one else figured it out until the Buddha came along.
So you're saying that
I didn't figure it out. All I'm saying is that the Buddhism we're learning is from one person. That person is the Buddha. And until he came along, okay, no one else figured it out until he came along and taught us.
So the way I interpret what you said is Buddhism is like using a quantum computer to figure out an equation, complex equation, and everything else is like using a calculator app on your cell phone.
You're too slow. You have to use computers, quantum computers, and NVIDIA chips. That's too slow. Buddha, when he looks at one problem, he says a solution. He sees a solution immediately already. Problem and solution to the Buddha is one and the same. He doesn't have to figure it out. You have to figure it out. The computers have to figure it out. Buddhas don't have to figure it out.
Well, I mean, the Buddhist path is like having a quantum computer versus having a
no
calculator.
Quantum computers, I just told you, is too slow. To consume too much electricity. Imagine if we are running short of electricity, Buddhists can't function anymore. Is what you're telling me? Be careful, my friend, with your analogies. And by the way, what you said about the truth is something that's obvious for people. If it were obvious, why is that all the geniuses of the world couldn't figure it out? We have very successful people, very smart people, extremely bright people, geniuses, and they can't figure out the truth. Why is that? Yeah.
Because we're in a lower realm. The people here aren't as smart as they might think they are.
You know, the Nobel laureates, I saw so many of them. Okay, they're not that smart. I'll be blunt with you. They're not that smart as they think they are. The mind is too slow. That's why you scientists, you people, especially people like him there, they need computers, they need their iPhones to figure things out. Buddhas don't need that. They don't need anything. If you depend on a computer, then you are so weak. Your wisdom is so limited. That's why you are dependent on externals. When are you going to wake up to that? Our path of cultivation is to free ourselves from externals, from dependencies on externals. It's nothing that your wisdom cannot do. But you have to start off the right foot. If you start off by, I'm going to use NVIDIA chips to figure out the rest of my life, you're dead. You're enslaving yourself to NVIDIA or IBM or Google. Yes, Way Mountain.
Thank you, Master. I'm asking this question for someone who's new to our temple, and she's too shy to ask you herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, I'll be gentle. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay, here we go. Okay. She wants to know, is it okay that she does some Reiki as she's starting to learn about Buddhism?
Absolutely. She could do Reiki, she could do yoga, she could be Tai Chi, okay, Qi Go, whatever you want to do, everything. We are very open-minded. In fact, we should continue what you're doing until you understand better. Okay. My experience has been just not to try to influence her and all of you, is that we're very open-minded. If you want to do yoga, you want to do taekwondo, you want to do any form of non-Buddhist practices, feel free to do it. I hope you do it in parallel so that you can compare the results. For me, I'm very Americanized. You talk all you want, but I want to see results. Okay? I need hard numbers. Words mean nothing to me. Okay? How many children do you have? Are you going to make more children or not? Okay? If you make more children, I get busier. You don't make children, I'm not going to do education for you. Got it? Huh? That's what I want. Elon is influencing me. I'm going between 4 and 11. Children, bad. Yes, go first.
Hello, Master. So I have a question, or maybe advice for when I sleep. So every time I go to sleep, I go to sleep worried that I'm gonna have certain kind of dreams, and the reason is because those dreams really mess up my body. It takes me a week or 2 weeks to kind of feel better again. Then it just makes me feel tense, and then it messes up my chi flow. So I've heard you say before that certain kind of thoughts are what lead to certain kinds of dreams. So I protect myself when it comes to that. I'm not perfect, but I could say it feels like I'm at 98%. When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, yes, thank God I didn't have one of those, because I just want to keep getting better, because as my chi flows better, then I just notice I'm improving in many different ways. So I do the sleep mantra. And is there anything else I can do? Because I want to keep getting better. And right now I feel like that's the only thing that's kind of holding me back. That's obvious to me.
You want to get better when you sleep, or I don't understand the question?
So when I'm the thing that I feel like is stopping me is when I have certain kinds of dreams. It's like sexual dreams, right? And I haven't had any.
You slur a few words.
So when I go to sleep, I'm afraid to have sexual dreams. And
sexual dreams?
Yes.
And you asking me for advices?
How can I protect myself at night? Because
take it with a grain of salt, okay?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Continue.
So,
I know I allowed you to ask about anything, but I'm warning you, doesn't mean I can answer anything. It's not good if I come out as an expert. Not funny, I know. I lost a few disciples because I joke about, SEX. You have children here in the audience, Yes, continue. So you have dreams, certain types of dreams, yes. Don't think they're not listening. These people are very dangerous. They pretend they're not listening. Actually, they're tuning in. Yeah. So what's your question?
I just want to know how I can protect myself from those dreams because they damage me a lot, and it takes me a while to even get back to normal, to feel where I have a normal chi flow, and then I can start like progressing again. So it's just like when I have that, it sets me back for like 2 weeks, and it's been like a month now. But before that, it was like every Friday, or after a week, they would get me, and I'm like every time I go to sleep, I'm scared.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No.
What happened to the last girlfriend? You can't talk about it?
That was like 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago or 2 years ago?
2 years, sorry.
Wow. Okay. You plan to get another one?
Yes.
Would help the dreams.
Yes.
There you go. Okay. Next. Who doesn't? If you during the day you think about it, and that's what happens to you at night. Ask Jumi. Okay? It's part of your progression. It's natural. I would not worry too much about it, okay? Don't overreact. That's normal. It's part of the natural learning process. It happens to lay people and monks and nuns as well. Commonplace. Okay? Now, again, I would not worry too much about it. Okay? All right. So the Dharma of Buddhas are, they all, however they want to approach it, ultimately they want to teach the same end result. That is, we all can become Buddhas. And don't settle for less. Don't believe anyone else who tells you otherwise. So that's the thus he's talking about. It thus is. You will become Buddhas. We all will become Buddhas. We are all Buddhas to be. Period. Okay? Now, if you believe that, now it's the next thing for you is to figure out how to get there sooner. Okay? Okay, now where we're supposed to start off. Causing those who stray to abide in a path, jewel cow light sees thus.
令非道者住于道，宝济光明如是见。
Okay, 776. This jewel cow light, so a head on his head here, he has a bump in his head, and the bump there actually emits light. And this is a mark of Mahasattva. All Mahasattvas have a bump on their head. And the bump there, that's where strange, you don't have a bump, son. Yeah, the Buddhas, all Buddhas have that. And the Mahasattva, Bodhisattvas also have that. And so this bump here, so this guy here, cow here, meaning that it's so obvious. The closer you are to Buddhahood, the bigger the bump. See, as Tai just said, the bump of the Buddha on the statue is so clear. It's like someone hit him on the head. Okay, and so, but that for this particular Mahasattva, his cow there, the bump there, emits light. Okay, and with this light here, he sees thus, meaning that this is so Buddhist. whatever the Buddha teaches, it's verified by his own disciples. Isn't that interesting? See, in our system, it's the exact opposite. Whatever we do needs to be verified by our masters, right? But when you become a Buddha, you can't certify yourself anymore. Like, why would you certify yourself? So the Buddhas came up with the idea that the disciples then will verify all they learn from the Buddha. So that's why the smart monks, they do not want to have disciples, because it's our own disciples who will betray us. They say, no, Master, you lied. Whatever you taught us is not true. It's a lot of trouble, let me tell you. So I admire the monks I really like those monks who say, no disciples. Jin Kung, right? Jin Kung, Master Jin Kung has no disciples, maybe one. But it actually kept it very far away, okay? Only because Jin Kung cannot teach him. But this is so this is why in Buddhism it's very dangerous. Like this Zhu Kao here, he's very close to becoming a Buddha himself. Now he turns around and says, I've been seeing that all the Dharma that the Buddha has been teaching me, the thus Dharma has been teaching me, is actually thus. Isn't it interesting? And so Zhu Kao sees that the Buddhas, he sees the whole progression of what the Buddhas do, how they become Buddhas, and then what they do. And what they do is, to him, what's important is that he sees how the people who stray from the cultivation are helped to remain in the path. Okay? And that's the nature of cultivation. You get excited. Well, quite often you get excited and then something happens and you lose interest, and even you become disenchanted and then you drop off. And so he sees that the Buddha has many expedients to help them, bring them back, on the path. Okay? And it's out of compassion. Okay? Because when you stray from the path, when you don't cultivate, you basically are wasting your life. I'm concerned, let me tell you, if you connect with people who do not cultivate, okay, there's a lot of misery they're bringing to you. Okay, you come near these people, they bring a lot of misery to you. And this is why the Buddha said, that's why this guy here, Zhu Kao light, he says, is so important. This is how you can help reduce the pain and suffering of the world by encouraging people to stray, to get back on the path. And if people are not on the path yet, encourage them. Find ways to encourage them to get there. Okay? And this is a problem too. This is why I saw why my Chinese teacher, my late teacher, said we need to pay attention to education, because I saw such smart people who went to school and got and absorbed and adopted the wrong value system. Okay, and they're so smart that the egos take over, and they think they know everything. And what our part of our education is teach you to be more humble. You don't know as much as you think. You are not as smart as you think you are. You're not. If all the geniuses in the world, well, let me tell you, I've seen the Nobel Prize laureates. They're so slow. Their mind is so slow compared to the Buddhist disciples. Okay? All right. 777. Sentient beings are blind, dark, and trapped in woeful ignorance. The Buddha bids them to open their eyes of purity.
众生盲暗愚痴苦，佛运令其生净眼。
Commentary. Master Shedua says, he explains blind, dark, and yuchu. I don't know why they translated that as trapped in woeful ignorance. This Mahasattva is very blunt. He says, here's what he says in Chinese. He says, living beings are blind, are dark, are stupid, and suffering. How does it translate into trapped in woeful ignorance? I mean, you take too much liberty when you try to translate these people are much wiser than you. Especially in Buddhism, the Buddhist scriptures, Buddhist texts are incredibly profound. Why would you try to interpret it? And this is my reminder to all of you. In the future, many of you will be doing more translation. Be careful. Just stick to the text. If you're not sure, ask someone who has higher level of samadhi than you. Don't assume you understand. Okay? This is to me is so annoying because my Chinese teacher, when he was alive, he would assign people who had high level of samadhis to certify the translation. I notice nowadays, they disappear. They're not doing anything. They're running around, shaking hands or whatever they're doing, singing and playing. Ding. While my guitar. Seriously? And if you do that, what happens to the young people who read these texts? They're missing out on the Buddhist teaching. And I don't think anything can be more important than making sure that your children and you understand, have the best translation possible. This is terrible. It's very powerful. The Mahasattva, this guy says, you are blind. You are dark. You are stupid. That's how strong he says. You are suffering. Why don't you wake up to that? See? Even the kids are paying attention. Master is not angry. Okay. I'm just being forceful. I look angry, but I'm not angry inside. Actually, I'm very happy inside. See? They pay attention. Okay? And this Mahasattva sees it so clearly. He says, we are so dark, we're so blind. Meaning that, I don't know what Master Srinath is saying, but blind meaning we have eyes, but we can't see. How is it possible? You have eyes. It's not just about us, honey, but you too. You have eyes you can't see. Yes, honey? What does it mean? You, yeah, the girl with long hair and long legs.
It means that you...
Two.
It means that your inner eye is not open.
Your inner eyes, that's very good. Anyone else? What does it mean blind? You can't see at all, bottom line. You think you're seeing, but you're not seeing. This is a man with tremendous wisdom. He's almost as wise as the Buddha. He says, you think you're seeing, but you're not seeing anything. Isn't that interesting? And then dark. Dark means what? I don't know what he's explaining here. Okay, what it means dark? You read it. Sometimes I'm too lazy to read. I'm too busy talking to you. If I read them, everyone reads. If I talk to you, then you can read and I can talk. More efficient. So what does it mean, dark? Dark here, see, An here tells me about the state of the mind. He talked about the eye. You think you're seeing, but you're not seeing. Dark is that the mind, your mind is dark, meaning what? It's so dark. Okay? It's so dark in there. No light in there. Okay? It's so dark. Why is it dark? Why is it so dark? Yes. Why is your mind so dark?
Because there's no wisdom.
There's an absence of wisdom. That's why your mind, in that state of darkness, it can't really process anything. And there, our scientists think they understand everything and they know everything. They don't. Listen, boys and girls, you need to learn, to go to school. You need to get degrees. You need to learn those sciences, okay? And do well in school, okay? That's important. Part of the formation of your mind. But it doesn't stop there. This is what happened to people in the world. They stop too soon. Because they started off the wrong foot. They started off by saying, I plan to go to Harvard, to Stanford. No, nowadays I like MIT. Okay. MIT, Chicago, I like those. Okay. Anyway, I hope you send your children there. These are special people. Anyway, you go there and you think you get this recognition, and they basically certify you to be smarter than the average person and other people. And smart is probably true, but no one certifies you about wisdom. Okay? Wiser people, if you're curious, wiser people are much faster, can be so much smarter than low-level people. Yes, YouTube.
Thank you, Master. You have a question from Daniel Wisniewski. How do we prevent attachment while having a partner?
While what?
While having a partner.
What?
A spouse.
Oh.
I
think I have hearing issues. I'm beginning to believe that.
Oh, no.
It's Alzheimer's and now hearing aids.
Shall I try again?
Is it me or is it? You could hear clearly yourself? I think it's a conspiracy to make me go see get some hearing aids.
Okay. Shall I try again? How do we prevent attachment while we have a partner? It would feel cold and shallow, wouldn't it? So one must have no partner if there is an attachment?
The point of having a partner is becoming attached to, is it him or her with him?
This is a Dan, but I can't
I know,
tell.
I'm kidding. I'm trying to pretend to be open-minded. Okay. The point of having a partner is forming attachment to your partner. Who am I to tell you not to get attached to your partner? That's stupid. Okay? You have a partner because there's certain things about your partner you like. Okay? A lot. And therefore there's attachment there already. How can you ask me not to have any other attachment? You have no attachments, shave your head. Or Master YongHua says, you can get married, but you cannot liao dao too often. I don't know how to say it in English. especially with children around. Okay? So what are you talking about? You married. You made a commitment to someone. Therefore, you say, I'm attached to you, and I want to spend a lot of years of my life with you. And now you're asking me, I regret it? You regret it? Dump her. Jeez. But as long you have that relationship, do your best. What's the big deal? And don't feel that you are the only one. I felt the same way when I first started. I said, geez, I have lost so many attachments, and I like, the Lao Tao, I like all those things, drinking, I like all those things, and there's no way for me to keep the 5 precepts. So so I decided to try it out. I would imprison myself in a city of 10,000 Buddhas, where men and women are separated, okay, by at least 10,000 miles. The prudes, and that's the only way. That's the only way, because you basically cut yourself off all from those things. That's the only way. I don't know of any other way. But if you have a partner, okay, it's because you are seeing the attachment there. And there's nothing wrong with it, folks. What is the matter with you? Lay people in our temples are known to be enlightened, believe it or not. They don't look it. They look very stupid, most of them. But they're enlightened, meaning that just because you're attached to your partner, to your wife, to your husband, doesn't mean that you cannot become enlightened. Same thing. Yesterday we talked about the Vimalakirti Sutra. That guy there is a lay person, and he has his level of wisdom is higher than most bodhisattvas. You see, in Buddhism, you don't have to be so scared. Live your life. Okay? And don't subscribe to Master Shinwa, even my teachers teaching that, you should not do Lao Tao your spouse. Are you crazy? The spouse is for Lao Tao. I'll teach you to Lao Tao and then drop it. That's Buddhism. All right. Did I answer the question? All right, dark. Dark is the mind is so dark, meaning the mind cannot see clearly. Dark, blind here is the eyes cannot see clearly. Dark means the mind cannot see clearly. Is that what he says? Okay? The mind thinks, your mind thinks it understands. Actually, this Mahasattva here says, he looks at your mind, all of living beings' mind, because remember, he's a world ruler. I mean, he rules over people like you, all of you. Okay? And then he look at you and say, your mind is so dark because you think you understand, but you don't. You think you see, but you don't. So your eyes cannot see, your mind cannot understand. That's why the mind is dark. Eyes cannot see, that's why it's blind. Your mind is dark, meaning you think you understand only, but you don't. Yes, Wei Mountain.
Master, I just have a question. Like last time you say, I'll teach you how to Lao Tao and drop it. How do you do that?
To Lao Tao and drop it?
Yes, Master. Not attached to it.
I say a lot of things I regret later. It's not something I want to talk about publicly. Okay, let me think about it. Okay, so dark. Dark is a very important concept because it says, we think we're smart, we think we're bright, but our mind is dark. It's such a very powerful statement when you think about it. I don't know what he explains here, but to me, the dark here says, your mind is so confused. Your mind is so, it cannot see anything, can really not understand anything. Why is it dark? Because it's referring to your thinking mind. The thinking mind is so limited. It cannot see what's important. You can only see, when it's dark, you can only feel your way. Okay? And that's all your thinking mind can do for you. It's so limited. Yes, you too.
Thank you, Master. We have a question that was started from yesterday. It's from Yumin, who's from the temple in Korea, and she wrote in English for you. She has a question about affliction. Is affliction from a view of the body only, or are there other different kinds of attachments that also cause affliction? Mostly she's wondering if attachments actually originate from the view of the body. Thank you.
Okay, good question. Afflictions arise because of your attachments. That's what I tried to convey to you yesterday, and I'm sorry I didn't make it clear for you. In general, because you have certain attachments, and your attachments arise because of the darkness in your mind. Okay? You didn't know better. That's why you have so many attachments. Because you have so many attachments, you're so prone to afflictions. You get afflicted so easily. Never mind about the concepts. Why don't you look at from the other side? If you get afflicted, okay, you recognize you're afflicted, don't you? Yeah, there's a heat here, and you're unhappy, and you're depressed, and so forth. Yeah, okay, you're unhappy. Bottom line, right? It's right there, affliction there. If you see yourself so afflicted so often, it's because there's an attachment right underneath it that causes it. Never mind, don't look at attachment as something abstract. Okay, that's the wrong side to look at. There are two equations here. Okay, I only ask you to look at the affliction side. We can recognize you're afflicted because we're unhappy. When we're afflicted, we're unhappy. We're not happy at all. That's easier to recognize. And in some cases, you're too happy. That's an affliction too. You see? So that's why if you look at your affliction, you recognize you're afflicted, then it tells you right away that there's an attachment that causes that affliction based on the Buddhist teaching. So the way that the Chinese and the Vietnamese and the Korean learn Buddhism is from this side. They say, I am affliction, therefore I have attachment, therefore I'm afflicted. It's useful for you to see that. If you believe in the Buddhist teaching, see that you're so afflicted so often, it's because there's so many attachments. You look closely, you see that you're afflicted, you're unhappy right now. You look closely, you see that there's one attachment there that causes you to be afflicted. That's how I cultivate it, because I really bug me, because I have a problem when people talk to me like, you should not lao tao your wife. I say, how can I possibly explain to my students in the future? If I stay around and become a monk and start teaching, people will ask me, how, for the West, it's not acceptable, it's unreasonable. Okay, and so that's the same perspective that the last person who asked about, how can I not reduce not avoid the attachment to my partner? Okay, I advise you to look at the other side. I look at the other side. I don't worry about the attachment here because it's so hard to see. Okay, and it's so abstract. But if you look at if you're afflicted, whether you're too depressed, you're too unhappy, or too happy, that's an affliction as well, okay? Worry about the obvious ones. Don't worry about the small one, okay? You worry about, drugs, like alcohol, like partner, that kind of thing. You look at that and you see that there is really, the Buddhist teaching says, actually there's a source for it. There's an attachment right there. That's much easier for you to understand and cultivate. The way the Chinese and the Asian do it, they say, I have an affliction, therefore here. Therefore, I have an attachment, therefore I have an affliction. To me, that's not very useful. I'm much more transaction-oriented, like my president. Okay? That is, I want to look at the affliction that bothers me. This is what I want you to think about. If you're bothered by your affliction, okay? Look at what caused that. Fix that, that's all. One affliction at a time, that's all. Don't worry about, I have so many attachments, I should drop all my attachments. Baloney. It doesn't work like that. We have commitments to our family. We have commitments to our children. Okay? That takes precedence. The Buddhas are not asking you to forsake your family, to forsake your partner, forsake the people you make commitment to. That's not right. You can honor those commitments and still open your wisdom and still become enlightened. Don't feel that because you learn from the Asian style where you have so many attachments, therefore you are afflicted. No, all I want you to do, the practical side is that please look at the afflictions that really, really bother you. Fix those. That's enough for you to open your wisdom and become enlightened. What happened to the applause? I'm afflicted. Okay, settle down. Thank you. You see, this is why the young people are alienated from the old way of speaking the Dharma. They want you to be completely pure, which is not possible. It comes across as we're so pure. We're not. We need to work on the bigger issues first. And that's good enough to change the world for the better place. Become a better place for us and for our children, for our future generations. Okay? Okay. So, this Mahasatva, he doesn't mince words. He says, you're blind. You think you see, but you can't see. You can't really see at all. You're dark, because you're a lot more stupid than you think. You really don't understand anything at all. Doesn't matter how many degrees, how many accolades you have, how many fans you have. You don't understand. Your mind is so dark. And third one, you're so stupid. I explained to you, but you don't get it. Buddha explained to you, but you don't get it. I mean, I'm included, okay? That's what he says. I'm not him. Okay, so you're so stupid. It's brutal. And how does it say, trapped in woeful ignorance? Oh my God, it's just like he's insulting us. And he said, oh, don't be upset at me for calling you stupid. My God, you're stupid. That's a fact. And because of that, you're suffering. You're suffering because you're blind, you're dark, and stupid. Wake up is a message. Isn't it beautiful? And they translate this into something polite, for polite company, for children to get confused about, like me, respect me. No, you stupid, you blind, you dark, you stupid, and you suffering like hell when you wake up. Children, are you okay? They pretend to ignore, but they say, why am I yelling at this, my parent? Yeah, question. One.
Master, is that possible? Some attachment are relatively healthy. That means responsibility and affinity with people and things we do. So some affliction is almost healthy and unavoidable, associated with this relatively okay attachment, and we should working on those attachment that's not necessary and unhealthy.
They have to classify as healthy and unhealthy. My God, you're thinking too much. I'm not worried about healthy and unhealthy. That's for the health professionals and doctors and lawyers and so forth to decide. I only worry about things that are overwhelming to me. Am I making sense to you? It's not about healthy and unhealthy. It's about, is it harmful to me? To me, I decide. No one else decides. You understand? I don't need you to tell me that is unhealthy for me. I need to decide it's unhealthy for me. That's how you cultivate. Okay? You look at which affliction is unhealthy for you. That's what I'm saying. If you say that attachment to your son is unhealthy, think again. Be careful. There are other things that are much more unhealthy for you in that sense than attachment to your son. And my approach is that I want you to work on those more overwhelming. I would not use the word unhealthy. I want to use the word overwhelming for you. It bothers you. It makes you unable to be yourself. Be your best. Be all you can be. Okay? That to me is much more important than healthy or right and wrong. Okay? Right and wrong will change. Healthy and unhealthy will change according to the nutritionists. Some day they say, if this is good for you. Next day, and 10 years later, they say, no, we were wrong. Let me change my tune. Okay? That's what scientists do constantly. First, they said the Earth was flat, and then 20 years later, they say, oh, actually, the Earth is actually a round ball. Okay? Scientists, they're so proud of their knowledge, and they correct themselves constantly. Okay? Don't worry about unhealthy. Worry about if all you have to do is worry right now at what prevents you from functioning, from fulfilling your duties, your commitments. Okay? Look at that first. That's what I do. I will look at what is important to me. What's preventing me from functioning as a decent human being? Okay? So what happened is, my approach to cultivation is different from the Chinese. My approach is that let me worry about the things that make me lose my cool. have a temper. Okay? That is not a cool thing. I used to scream at my subordinates, and they're terrified out of their wits, and I loved it. To show my power. And that's not cool. And then you go lower and lower and lower. And this is what you do. You worry about the biggest thing that bothers you. And what she used to do before is that she would take out a gun and shoot them. Okay, in opposite, I don't take out a gun. I shoot myself. I can cut off the affliction, cut off the attachment, and go lower and go lower. That's what I do. Because the way the Chinese, it really bothered me the way the Chinese taught them. Okay? It's like so typical of Master YongHua. It's like he wiped everything off. You cannot tell your wife, are you crazy? It bothered me. How can you possibly bring Buddhism to the West if that's how you teach the Westerners? It's not reasonable. Okay? So the way that the Chinese did is so, Confucian? So old world that you are, they're the teacher, you're supposed to do what they tell you. Time is a change. Now it's negotiation. We need to make sure they agree with us and it makes sense to them. Even though they're stupid, they're dark, but we have no choice. You have to convince them. So how you convince them that they're dark? You call them like this. They call them dark, blind, dark, and stupid. They're gonna walk away from you. So that's why my approach is that I would want to work by layers. I take the top off first, okay, and then next level. That's more manageable, and you can see the results yourself. All right? The pyramid is much easier to undo by taking the top off. Don't go for the bottom, don't go for the middle. I go for the top and I crush it. Okay? That's why, in a way, I'm so glad that I never got along with the Chinese style of cultivation. That I had to figure out something because I'm annoyed by that. It was so confusing to me. And I'm annoyed because unlike you, I could not have anyone who I could look at and say, I disagree with you. Please explain this to me. I have a degree here. And the way you talk to me doesn't make sense to me. Be honest with you. Never could do that. And it's no surprise that nowadays the young people, they don't come to the temples anymore because all the monks and nuns are still talking the same way the Master YongHua talked. And people like him and older people, they walk away, they couldn't understand a darn thing. They walk away, oh, Master is so wise, I couldn't understand a darn thing today. He's so advanced. Buddhism, folks, I don't care who you are, okay? Buddhism, we talk Dharma to you for only one purpose. It's for you. After you listen for 5-10 minutes, for an hour and a half or so, okay? Maybe you pick up 1 or 2 tips for you to apply next. That's all. That's good enough. The only problem you have is that you don't know when that tip's going to come. Is it the next 5 minutes or it's going to be an hour and a half? We're not telling you. All right? So that's why I have hope for you in the future because I feel that it's time for change, that we need to have Buddhism more sensible, more useful for the times. than just sticking the old style. And we're free from that because we don't have to serve the old guard who are giving all the money and paying for the building. If you do that, then you feel obligated to serve them first. And that's what happens to my generation, you know. All right. So it says here, blind, can't you see? You think you can see, but you can't. You cannot see the truth. You only see the false things. What you see is actually pretty confusing to you. You don't see at all. It's might as well not see anything. Dark because you think you understand, the mind understands, but it doesn't. It is so strong of a statement. This is condemnation, folks. No one ever talked to you like that, right, Anthony? No one ever looked at you and say, your mind is so dark! See? That's the Mahasattva. That's how they function. They don't beat around the bush. And stupid, because we try to tell you. How many times do you have to tell you? You still don't get it. Children, it's okay, okay? Don't be scared. I'm very calm. Look at her. Yeah, I'm calm. Okay? And you are suffering. Don't think you're having fun. Don't think you are successful. Don't think you're happy. You are suffering. It is such a powerful condemnation. You so fool yourself. You're suffering, you don't even know. That's the bottom line. Isn't that interesting? How this is a reminder. Forget about trying to fix everything at once. Why don't you just reduce your suffering at the top first? What makes you suffer the most? Take care of that. The next one, the next one. That's all you have to do. Why can't the Chinese teach us that? They want us to fix everything at once. We cannot. We're not that smart. We're not that wise. We don't have that many blessings. We cannot fix, we cannot take this thing and throw it away. We can't. It's like I remember when we talked about cultivation, and where I came from, we worship people who cultivate. So people would come to Chanchi, and then Master YongHua says, then the wife calls, and the house on fire, and the husband says, let it burn. Seriously? I really struggle with that for decades. I say, how on earth can I do that to my wife? So if your wife's on fire, I want you to go back home and fix it, okay? Please. Don't sue me. Your husband will sue me later. And we really are a cult if that's what we teach you. Okay? You're suffering. Wake up. Okay? So that's why it means that, this line here, it says that, I'm teaching you, look at what bothers you. Look at something you're unhappy about. Fix it. Take care of that. Don't have to take care of everything. One thing at a time. Only take care of what really bothers you. You'll be amazed on how far you can go. Your mind is incredible. Your mind is incredibly talented if you know how to wield it, how to use it. That's all. The Chinese, unreasonable to me. I can't do that. Can't do like that. I will. After I learned it today from Master YongHua, I will never touch my wife again. You're too happy. Look at him. Not normal. Yes, one.
Master, I think my mind is too dark and stupid that I don't see what makes me suffer the most. Can you give me some tips about where to look at?
Where shall I begin? And where did you go to school? Wait a minute. I went to U Chicago. We have much lower level than you, okay? Don't worry. You see, your paradigm is so off. You don't need my criteria. I'm teaching you to use your own criteria. What bothers you? That's all. What bothers me is different from what bothers you. And it will change in 6 months. Okay? And so again, it's not absolute. You look at yourself and say, I'm bothered by this. You just live your life, and all of a sudden one day you wake up and say, boy, I'm really afflicted. Why do I keep on being afflicted, having the same affliction over and over again? That's what you should work on. That's all. Okay? If it's about the severity has to do with the frequency and how it affects you in a way that you can't function fully as a person, as yourself. That's all. That's all that matters. Just for personally, for example, you have the wrong attitude. Yes, you, for example, said, I have a team to take care of my laundry, my buying groceries, a nanny, and so forth. Okay, that's American efficiency. That's not real. You are buying into the concept of efficiency, and you're neglecting your human duties. How about living normal, like spending half an hour playing with your son, and just for the sake of playing, or sitting there shooting the breeze with your husband and say, honey, I care enough. I just want to spend time with you. And those are the moments, my friend, that I remember. Not, the car will be gone, the money will be spent, okay? But what's left is how another person treats you and feels towards you. That's what Warren Buffett tried to tell you. He says a mark of successful man is by the time he dies, how many people really love him, care for him, will stick around for him. After all the money you make, it doesn't matter anymore. He says, success to me is that who loves me, who will be there for me. You have the wrong premise. That's why when you talked about, is it more efficient for me to, hire someone to take care of my son? Say, no, let him bother you. That's part of being a mother. Your son's supposed to bother you. You're supposed to make sacrifices. And that's a lived experience instead of efficiency. Efficiency is for things. It's not for people. It's not for your family. Okay? People, it's about shared experiences. No one ever taught you that. You have a family. Family means that you share the experience, good and bad. You're there. And you're willing to spend the time, and the time could be better for you to make more money and build more fame and profit, so forth. Okay, but you, instead of doing that, you invest in your family and building a relationship with your family. No guarantee it's going to succeed, but that's what you are willing to invest in. Nothing about success. It's about, I'm taking a loss. I'm doing it for you. That's it. Whether you appreciate it or not, it doesn't matter. That's being human. That's being yourself. Giving a part of yourself that only you can give. Not the nanny, not money. That you have to give. This is so Buddhist, folks. Buddhism, this is when I look at her, I understood why the Buddha said, when you give something, give with your own hands. It's such a beautiful teaching. He says, if you want to give someone food to eat, I taught you, hey! You know, hello. She only, if you threaten her, she doesn't pay attention. But when you, hello, how are you? See, you adapt. That's what I taught her. I said, when we opened a box of whatever they call it, what do we call it? Hey, Cincy!
Trader Joe's?
Chocolate thing.
Crepes?
Huh? The crepes. Yeah, the crepes. And so we shared, we went down, so he takes 2, I took 2, she took 2, and so forth. And we're down there, and the girl is very well trained. She said, let me stand up and go and give it to them, okay? I said, give it to them yourself. Don't just put it on the table and have them pass around. That's very Buddhist. You understand? We share, please, would you like some? Would you like some? Would you like some? That is so beautiful. That's how we treat people. That's how Buddhists treat people. They take care of each and every one of us. Okay? And the Buddha bids them to open their eyes of purity, not bids, he just makes them. Okay. Ling here is not bids, but makes them. Okay. It's not a command, but he does things to make sure that it happens. That's what Buddhists do, not bids. Bids is like for idiots. Buddha is so wise. You don't know what he does, but he makes us open our eyes of purity. And that's what's beautiful about it, is that is the spirit of helping. We help, but they're not supposed to know. Okay? Ling here is they make it happen, but we are probably not aware of it. Whew. It is so beautiful. Stop here today. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry, I lost my temper today. Yeah, for real, Master was angry.